Sunday, 20th March, The Gap News This Morning, broadcasting live from Kuala Lumpur, I'm Ghazali Abdullah. Good morning. First, the headlines. New minimum wage of 1,500 ringgit from May 1st, says Prime Minister. Final draft of Malaysia-Indonesia deal on maids ready. 2 new hotels in Penang, Langkawi open for business amid border reopening. Street fighting blocks rescue at bomb Maripol Theatre, says Mayor. Myanmar to reopen to international tourists from April 17. And defending champion Zii Jia bows out at All England semi-final. And now the news in full. The new minimum wage of 1,500 ringgit will come into effect on May 1st, Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob announced Saturday. He said the increase from the current minimum wage of 1,200 ringgit will only involve companies in the private sector which have 5 employees or more. The cost of living is rising and this is putting much pressure on the B40 group, he told the UMNO General Assembly on Saturday. The Indonesian and Malaysian governments have reached an agreement on the final draft of a Memorandum of Understanding on the placement and protection of Indonesian domestic workers, PDIs, in Malaysia. The Indonesian Manpower Ministry tweeted that the schedule for signing the MOU between its Minister Ida Fauzia and Human Resources Minister M. Sarbanan was being determined. The MOU determines the salaries, weekly and annual leave entitlement, the right to communicate, a ban on withholding passports, and on one PDI only serving a household not exceeding 6 people, among others. Imbued by optimism over the country's border reopening next month and government incentives, 2 new hospitality properties are opened in Penang and Langkawi. Mercure Langkawi Pantai Chenang General Manager Jasmine Kay told the Vibes that she sees the hotel business will soon experience a boom in business as Malaysia reopens its international borders and the country makes the transition to the endemic phase. In preparation for the country's border reopening on April 1st, she said more than 50% of its 164 rooms and suites, along with the dining outlets, will be in operation. Meanwhile, Plenitude Berhad has reopened its business hotel Ascot Gurney Penang in collaboration with Capital Land Investment Limited. Ascot's country general manager Mondi Mekcha said he's looking forward to the return of travel in 2022, with borders reopening and vaccinated travel lanes in place. We are excited to bring this positive momentum into 2022 and introduce more of what Ascot has to offer. Thank you for being with us in this podcast group. You are listening to The Gap News, coming to you from Kuala Lumpur with reports from Free Malaysia Today, The Vibes and the BBC World Service. The Gap News is also available on the internet news portal Melaka Hari Ini. More to come, news from the international front. Street fighting is stopping rescuers reaching hundreds of survivors trapped beneath a shell theatre, Maripol's mayor tells the BBC. Mayor Vadim Boyshenko says Ukrainian forces are doing their all to hold up a larger Russian force inside the southern port city. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky calls on Russia to come to the negotiating table without delay. He also calls on China to take a stand against Russia's aggression. Russia's Vladimir Putin accuses Ukraine of stalling peace talks with unrealistic proposals in a call with the German Chancellor. Mykolaiv, where a deadly strike is feared to have killed scores of sleeping Ukrainian soldiers, is hit again. And Poland has urged the European Union to cease all trade with Russia. Myanmar will resume international passenger flights from April 17, the military said Saturday, lifting a 2-year ban on foreign tourists. The Southeast Asian nation closed its borders to visitors in March 2020 at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic in an attempt to prevent rising infections. Myanmar was further isolated after a coup last year, saw huge protests and a bloody military crackdown on dissent, sending its economy, including its tourism industry, into free fall. In a statement, it said the decision was in order to improve the tourism business sector and to have a smooth trip for visitors who come to visit Myanmar. Visitors will be required to quarantine for a week, undergoing 2 PCR tests, and must be fully vaccinated according to its health ministry. And now for some sports news. Defending champion Zii Jia failed to make it to the final of the All England Badminton Championship in Birmingham, England, after he lost to Indian champion Lakshya Sen in 3 hard-fought games. After losing the first game 13-21, the Malaysian national champion regained his composure and led from the beginning in the second game, returning many shots that appeared impossible to return at times. To end the bulletin, here are the headlines again. New minimum wage of 1,500 ringgit from May 1st, says Prime Minister. Final draft of Malaysia-Indonesia deal on maids ready. 2 new hotels in Penang, Langkawi open for business amid border reopening. Street fighting blocks rescue at Bom Maripol Theatre, says Mayor. Myanmar to reopen to international tourists from April 17. And defending champion Zii Jia bows out at All England semi-final. This has been the Gap News this morning, Sunday, 20th March, with reports from Free Malaysia Today, The Vibes and the BBC World Service. The Gap News is also available on the internet news portal Melaka Hari Ini. We hope you found the bulletin informative. We certainly welcome hearing from you. If you do have the opportunity, please do write in. We would certainly love to hear from you. Podcasting live from Kuala Lumpur, I'm Ghazali Abdullah.